What if I told you the Spurs are one bold trade away from building the most dangerous young duo in the NBA? No more waiting. No more potential. Just Lauri Markkanen, an all-star sniper standing next to a 7-forged cheat code named Victor Wembanyama. And the craziest part? The deal isn't just possible. It actually makes sense. But like every blockbuster move, someone's gotta lose big. Let's break down the trade that could change everything. This isn't just another wild trade cooked up by a fan on Twitter. This idea came from Sports Illustrated, and it's got the NBA world raising eyebrows. The proposal? The San Antonio Spurs trade for all-star forward Lauri Markkanen, a 7-footer with a silky jumper who just averaged over 23 points per game while shooting nearly 40% from deep. He's not just a good fit, he's the missing piece next to Wemby. In one version of the deal, the Spurs would send out Jeremy Sochan, Keldon Johnson, veteran forward Harrison Barnes, and a 2030 first-round pick. Not exactly a light price. Another version is even heavier. Devin Vassell, Barnes, and 3 unprotected first-rounders. Yes, 3. Both offers would hurt, but they'd also make a statement. Because make no mistake, this kind of move screams, "We're not here to wait, we're here to win." The Spurs have spent years stacking talent and picks. But Wembanyama isn't just a prospect, he's a generational freak. And generational freaks need help now. Markkanen gives them exactly that, a sharp-shooting big who can stretch the floor, play fast, and take scoring pressure off Wemby. It's the kind of offensive weapon San Antonio hasn't had in years. But here's the twist. As exciting as this sounds for the Spurs, it's just as complicated for the Jazz. Because if this trade goes through, they're not just moving a star, they're flipping the script on their entire rebuild. At first, the idea of parting with young talent like Jeremy Sochan or Devin Vassell feels like a gut punch. These are guys the Spurs drafted, developed, and believed in. So why let them go? Because Victor Wembanyama just changed everything. This isn't a normal rebuild anymore. Wemby isn't a hopeful superstar. He's already one of the most terrifying players in the league, and he's only 2. He blocks shots like prime Dwight, moves like Durant, and reads the floor like a 10-year vet. You don't slow play a future like that. You build around it fast. And that's where Lauri Markkanen comes in. He's the rare kind of player who can play with a unicorn without getting in his way. Markkanen is 7 feet tall, moves off-ball like a wing, and can shoot the lights out. He averaged 23 points last season while barely touching the ball for long stretches, exactly what Wemby needs next to him. Because when Wembanyama draws double teams at the elbow, Lauri's already spotted up at the arc. When the defense collapses in transition, Markkanen's trailing with a heat check 3. They would feed off each other's gravity, and defenses would suffocate trying to cover both. And here's the kicker. Even if they give up Sochan or Vassell, the Spurs aren't gutted. They still have Rob Dillingham's flash, Stephon Castle's defense, Keldon Johnson's energy, and a deep bench that knows how to play fast and smart. This trade isn't a shortcut. It's an acceleration. Instead of waiting 5 years, the Spurs could be back in the playoffs next season. And not just as a feel-good story, but as a legit threat. Plus, look at the West. The Nuggets are in their prime. The Timberwolves just locked up their core. OKC's growing more dangerous every week. The Spurs know what they have. They just need to decide, are they ready to make noise now or keep hoping the future turns out like they dreamed? And with Wemby's timeline speeding up faster than anyone expected, waiting might actually be the bigger risk. Of course, every bold move comes with its shadows. And this one? It's got more than a few. Let's start with the obvious. Lauri Markkanen is not bulletproof. Over the last 3 seasons, he's missed nearly 80 games. That's not just load management, that's a pattern. You give up key young pieces and multiple first-rounders, and if Lauri tweaks an ankle or disappears in the playoffs, that's a franchise setback, not just a bad week. Then there's the defensive side. Trading Sochan, Vassell, or Barnes means you're losing serious perimeter defense, length, hustle, and versatility. And pairing Wemby with Lauri might look pretty on offense, but defensively, it's not a lock. Lauri's not known for locking down wings or guards. If the Spurs face someone like Luka, Shai, or Booker, who's stepping up, and let's be real, team chemistry isn't just plug and play. Wemby's still developing. Adding another primary scorer could shift the balance. Does it make him better, or does it stunt his takeover mode? Plus, let's not forget the timeline. Markkanen is 27, Wemby is 20. Are the Spurs trying to win now, or just get caught in no man's land, too good to tank, not good enough to contend? And the most painful part? Those picks. 3 unprotected firsts could come back to haunt the Spurs in 5 years when Wemby's running the league and they're short on assets. So yeah, it's a swing. But if you miss on this one, it's not a foul tip. It's a strikeout that echoes for years. But what about Utah? Why would they let their all-star go in the first place? That's where it gets interesting. So why would the Utah Jazz even consider giving up their best player? Simple, they're playing the long game. Yes, Lauri Markkanen is an all-star. Yes, he's beloved by the fan base. And yes, he's in his prime. But that's exactly the problem. The Jazz aren't ready to compete right now, and by the time they are, Markkanen could be past his peak or too expensive to keep. So instead of waiting for the clock to run out, Utah might cash in while his value is sky high. Because let's be honest, this deal isn't about today, it's about tomorrow. Imagine this. Utah walks away with Jeremy Sochan, a 6'8" defensive menace who's still only 21, Keldon Johnson, a proven 20-point scorer, and Harrison Barnes, who brings veteran presence and a tradable contract. Not to mention another first-round pick to stack on their already loaded war chest. That's not a loss. That's a full-on retool. In the alternative version, they land Devin Vassell, a two-way wing who just signed a long-term deal and fits beautifully in a modern system. Add in 3 unprotected picks, and you've got flexibility, youth, and a real shot at jumping back into the top 5 of the draft. They wouldn't just be rebuilding. They'd be reshaping the franchise overnight. And remember, Utah's already made it clear nobody's off limits. Trade rumors have swirled around Markkanen, Clarkson, Sexton, you name it. Danny Ainge is known for moving stars before they decline. It's what he does. So if the Spurs are offering youth, picks, and future cap relief, that's the kind of package Utah would actually listen to. Because in the Jazz front office, there's only one rule. Better to trade 1 year too early than 1 year too late. But don't think San Antonio's the only one making calls. If the Spurs are serious about landing Markkanen, they better move fast. Because they're not the only ones circling. Reports have linked multiple teams to the Jazz forward, and some of them are already contenders. The Lakers? Interested. The Orlando Magic? Monitoring. Even the Thunder have enough draft picks to outbid anyone if they really want to. Markkanen isn't just a good player, he's a plug-and-play star. He fits anywhere. Championship squads looking for one more weapon, or young teams ready to level up. That's what makes this so dangerous for San Antonio. The longer they wait, the more likely another team swoops in with a better offer. More picks, bigger markets, more urgency. And if the Jazz are already preparing to shake up their core, as insiders are starting to hint, they're not just taking calls, they're making them. Sources say Utah is open to moving multiple pieces this summer. Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, even John Collins. It's a full reboot waiting to happen. And Markkanen is the big domino. So here's the reality. This isn't a hypothetical, it's a race. And the Spurs have a rare chance to jump ahead of the pack if they're willing to pay the price. But will they? So what's the verdict? On paper, this trade makes a ton of sense. Wemby gets the spacing he needs. Markkanen gets a franchise ready to rise. The Spurs fast-forward their timeline without gutting the entire roster. And Utah? They reload with youth, flexibility, and a shot at becoming a scary team again in just a couple years. It's bold, it's balanced, it's tempting. But here's the thing about trades like this. They don't just change rosters. They change identities. If the Spurs say yes, they're not rebuilding anymore. They're going for it. And once you start that clock, there's no turning back. If they say no, they better pray Wemby stays patient because generational talent doesn't wait forever. As for Utah, walking away from your best player takes guts. But sometimes, letting go at the right time is the smartest play of all. So we're left with one question. Should San Antonio pull the trigger or stay the course? Let us know what you think in the comments.